Ok, vamos a continuar con los pronombres de los objetos directos e indirectos. Okay. In lecciones 5 and 6, you learn that direct and indirect object pronouns replace nouns and that they will often refer to nouns that have already been referenced. You will now learn how to use these together. Now, I just want to remind you that indirect object pronouns are the to whom or for whom something is done, whereas direct object pronouns are the who or what. So for an example, John gave the ball to Mary. Who did John give the ball to? To Mary. So she is my indirect object. What did John give to Mary? The ball. That is my direct object. Okay. And now what we're going to learn how to say is John gave it to her. Okay. Her being the indirect object and it being the direct object pronouns. So indirect object pronouns being me, te, le, nos, and les. They put se in parentheses, and I'll go over that in just a minute. And the more common direct object pronouns when we use double objects are lo, la, los, and las. Don't forget there are also the me, te, and nos that are also direct object pronouns. Okay. So when direct and indirect object pronouns are used together, the indirect object always precedes or comes before the direct object pronoun. So I think of I do. Indirect, direct object pronoun. So I took this from the book. However, I don't like exactly how they set it up, because they just set it up as a statement like la camarera me muestra el menú. So the waitress shows me the menu. And then they just say the waitress shows it to me. My preference would be is, did the waitress show you the menu? Yes, the waitress shows it to me. Or does the waitress show you the menu? I would prefer they set it up in a question and then answer it with the direct object pronouns and indirect object pronouns, because that's usually how you're going to see them. Remember, they are used to reference something that was previously referenced. Okay, so la camarera me muestra el menú, me being the indirect object pronoun, el menú being the direct object. And so if we want to say she shows it to me, la camarera me lo muestra. It's almost like we have to read it backwards, like she shows it to me. Okay. So nos sirven los platos. They serve us the dishes. I wish they would have said, like, do they serve you the dishes? Yes, they serve them to us. So los platos being the direct object pronoun or direct object, we're going to substitute it with los. So nos los sirven. In the next example, Maribel te pidió una hamburguesa. So it doesn't matter if we have it present or past. Maribel te la pidió. So Maribel ordered a hamburger for you. She ordered it for you. So te la. Okay. And again, you can kind of read it backwards. Ordered it for you. Okay. Now in Spanish, two pronouns that begin with the letter L cannot be used together. In other words, they don't like to lay low. Okay? Neither do they lay la, or lay los, or lay las, lay slow, lay sla, lay los, lay las. Those double L's don't go together. So what happens is that indirect object pronoun of lay or les changes to say when it comes in front of lo, los, la, and las. So, le escribí la carta. we're going to change la carta to la, and because we cannot have le and la, se la escribí. Le sirvió los sándwiches. Los sándwiches, we would replace that with los. So we cannot have les and los together, so we change the les to se. Se los sirvió. Now, because se has multiple meanings, remember we've used it with reflexive pronouns like se baña or se bañó. Okay. Spanish speakers often clarify to whom the pronoun refers to by using a usted, a él, a ella, a ustedes, a ellos, or a ellas. So here I kind of like they set it up in a question a little bit. El sombrero, Carlos se lo vendió a ella. Las verduras, ellos se las compran a usted. Now that's when we don't have a person that was referenced beforehand. We only had the direct objects, el sombrero, which we changed to lo, and las verduras, that we changed to las. But we didn't have a reference as to a person. And so that's why Carlos se lo vendió a ella, and ellos se las compran a usted. Now, if it was something like, did Carlos sell the hat to her? Le vendió el sombrero a ella? Then we could just answer with sí, se lo vendió. Okay. And if we had something like, are they buying the vegetables for you? Then it would be, compran ellos las verduras, or perdón, les compran ellos las verduras a usted? Sí, se las compran. Okay. Now, double object pronouns, they are placed in the same places that we have used them when they were individual. So if we have a conjugated verb, one conjugated verb, it must go out in front. So let me go back. Compran, one conjugated verb, so se las comes in front of compran. Same thing with vendió, one conjugated verb, so se lo vendió. But sometimes we have two verbs. In the first example, it shows us with an infinitive, voy a mostrar. So we have two places that we can put it. We can put it out in front of the conjugated verb, te lo voy a mostrar, or we can attach it to the infinitive, voy a mostrártelo. And notice when we add it to the end, now with the two pronouns, we have to put an accent mark. That accent mark is going to come over the A and an AR verb, over the E and an ER verb, and over the I and an IR verb. We've also seen two verbs with the present progressive, the form of estar with the ando or yendo. So here we have están comprando. So we can put it out in front, nos las están comprando, or we can attach it to that gerund, to that present participle, están comprándonoslas. And we have to put the accent mark. Again, that accent mark actually occurred when we only had one pronoun. The same place is going to be used. So it's over the a and ando and the e and yendo. Okay. So I hope that makes sense to you, and we'll be practicing that in class. Gracias.